Hello, my fellow concerned friends. Happy Saturday or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it is for you. The day that I will be posting this is Saturday. Let me know, as always, what are your plans for the weekend? And also, how was your week? Was it a good week, bad week? Just, same stuff, different day kind of week? As always, I'm going to ask you to please like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so that you're notified every single time I post. It really does help me out a lot, and it tells YouTube that you guys do like my content and you want other people to see it. And it helps me out because it lets me know that you guys actually like the content that I am putting out there. And today's adventure is exploring the subreddit Narcissistic Mothers. Do you guys hear the birds? Aren't they so beautiful? Now that we've taken a moment for mindfulness, let's prepare to be triggered, shall we? A simple statement met with yet another clueless narcissist response. It's a post from Mother Wound Project that says, some people spend years waiting for apologies from moms who aren't sorry. And the response to that was, since when do adult children think they are qualified to hold their parents accountable for anything? I had a hard life and I did the best I could in the moment. What could your parents do that would be good enough? So here's the thing, when it comes to raising children, you don't get to decide how your children perceive their childhood. It does not matter how hard your life was personally growing up, and it doesn't matter if you gave your children a bunch of things that you wish you had or that you needed or you didn't have. If you have still harmed your children and you're unwilling to acknowledge it and take accountability for it and apologize for it, you are still in the wrong. And what qualifications do children have? Being children. The experience of experiencing childhood qualifies children and adult children to criticize their parents' parenting. Like, being on the receiving end of parenting absolutely qualifies you to criticize parenting. In my opinion, when parents get extremely defensive at the simple thought of having to apologize to their children, that tells me that they know that they're in the wrong and they just don't want to admit it because they don't feel like their children deserve an apology because their children's lives may not have been as bad as theirs. And that is such a dangerous mindset to have as a parent because that sets your child up for harm. And let me give you a personal experience of mine that proves that having this mindset sets your child up for harm. My mother was victimized herself by a family member as a child, and that family member nothing happened to them, right? They're still walking free to this day. My mother never received justice, and my mother's childhood was probably, I would say 100 times worse than mine based off of what she has told me. And maybe I'm stupid for this, but I choose to believe her when she tells me all of these terrible stories, or I should say when she had told me all of these terrible stories from her childhood. I believe her. I really do believe her because I've met some of my family. All of that to say, there were a lot of things that she experienced that I did not experience that I'm very thankful for. However, because to her knowledge, I was protected from all of these things that she felt like I needed protected from, when I was victimized by my stepdad, her husband, she wouldn't believe me and she couldn't believe it. And even when my stepfather admitted face to face to my mother what he did, she still minimized my abuse because it wasn't as bad as hers. And she actually, to this day, victim blames me for the abuse that I went through, thinking that I deserved it and it was justified. And even with my own children, I am doing things completely different than what was done with me, but I still understand that I fearfully have to accept that I'm not going to be able to protect my children from everything. But what I can do is keep them as safe as I can and believe them if and when they unfortunately ever have to disclose something to me. And then I can take the steps necessary to get them justice, to keep them safe, whatever the circumstance may be. What I will not do is say that didn't happen. Well, what happened to me was worse. Well, what did you do to deserve it? I absolutely will never not apologize to my child if I have caused them harm in the most severe case and even the most minimal case. Because as a parent, it hurts me to know that I have hurt my kid. And I do not understand how people can have children that, they claim, because these are the same people that claim that they love their children with anything in them and blah, 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 but you don't love them enough to accept the fact that maybe you're actually not perfect and you have harmed your kid. How did you learn to love yourself when your own mother didn't? Not being loved by my mother has messed me up so bad. Oh my gosh. People that don't have narc moms will never understand. I never feel good enough anywhere in my life. I'm constantly doubting myself, how I look, how good I am at my job. Do people really like me? And I try so hard to accept myself and love myself, but I genuinely have no idea how to. How do you teach yourself something that you've never experienced? I am screwing up a really great relationship because I just have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know what good love looks like, and I sure as hell don't know how to show it to my partner. I try to, and most of the time I think I'm doing it right, but it's a mess. God, I hope I'm making sense. Bottom line is, being an unloved child was the cruelest thing my mother ever did to me. I never stood a chance. Raise your hand if you can relate. I'm assuming at least 99% of y'all's hands are up if you're subscribed to my content. I hated myself for about 23 years of my life. And I relate to this so much because for the better part of my almost 26 years on earth now, I dedicated my life to trying to prove myself to my mother. I spent almost every single day wondering what I could do to make her see who I am and what she was missing. And in doing so, I was destroying myself. I was lying to myself. I was staying in toxic relationships that I shouldn't have stayed in. And I hated myself. I was genuinely at a place where I was like, I have all of this love for so many people around me, but clearly I'm not lovable. My own mother can't love me. My own mother can't stand me. Everything I do irritates her. Nothing I say is true, or I'm over dramatic, even though I know my truth and I know that this is true. I started to really internalize all of the trauma that was given to me and believe that all of the traumatic things that I had experienced and gone through in my life was due to me just being innately corrupt and flawed and unlovable, instead of placing the blame where it belonged on the caregiver who traumatized me and did not show me any love, didn't even try to show me any love. So I relate to this so much, and I know for a fact that so many other people do too. And I don't relate to this anymore though. And so I want to tell you guys how I got to the point of not relating to this. And I'm actually at a place in my life where I love myself so much that if I was alone for the rest of my life, minus my kids, okay? Like if my kids wanted nothing to do with me, then I'm doing something very, very wrong and I should not be at peace. But pretend like I didn't have kids. Like I love myself so much that if I wasn't married and I never got married, like I would be completely fine, like on my own. Like I'm happy with who I am. I don't feel like I need validation from other people to feel completely full, like with myself, like my self-worth. And now, of course, like I have bad days, like we all have bad days. I have CPTSD. There's some days where I feel like I'm right back to square one. But for the majority of the time now, I love myself. And I got to this point through something that I rolled my eyes at to my therapist whenever she was like, this is what you need to do. I was doing cognitive processing therapy, and we realized that, my biggest roadblock at that point in time in my therapy was my self-esteem. Like I was not going to be able to be the mother that I needed to be the wife that I needed to be the advocate that I needed to be, if I didn't see myself for who I am and stop seeing myself for how my mom views me. And I did that through literally every day saying affirmations twice a day, every single day for about 2 months straight. I would say this list of 50 affirmations. I think it was 50. And it was a list of affirmations that my therapist gave me. And I would stand in front of the mirror and I would say every single one of these affirmations, like down the list every single day, twice a day. And when I first started doing this, I like felt angry when I would say these affirmations, because I'm like, I don't believe that this is true. And I do not believe that me just sitting here staring at myself in the mirror and saying this is going to make me think that this is true. Like this is actually just crazy. And the affirmations were as simple as, I am loved. I am worthy. I am deserving of love. I am loved and can love others. Affirmations like that. And I would feel disgusted with myself saying these things, especially the ones about what do I deserve? I deserve love. I deserve peace. I deserve I felt yucky saying that because it was so ingrained in me by my toxic family and my abusers that I didn't innately deserve these things. That these things weren't things that children just deserved. These were things that you had to earn, that you had to work for, that you had to prove to yourself. But that's not true. Children just deserve love and to feel loved and to know that they are loved and needed and special and wanted in this world. But traumatized children, children who come from these toxic family systems, we are never taught that. We are taught that the things that human beings just deserve are things that are earned and you have to work for it. And it's extra hurtful coming from our own parents. So saying those affirmations did end up getting easier. And believe it or not, I started to just believe it. Like it was like one day I said them and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I actually do deserve love. I do deserve happiness and I do deserve to feel loved and be loved by others. And I deserve to give others my love. I do deserve this. And it was like, it's crazy like how such a simple thing really did completely change the way that I viewed myself. And especially pairing the affirmations with EFT tapping. And again, that was another thing that I was like, okay, Miss Therapist, or whatever you say, I guess I'll do it. But it actually works. And I'm not like, I couldn't sit here and explain all the science behind like EFT tapping and stuff, but whenever I would feel really low, especially at the beginning of me saying my affirmations and I couldn't do it, the tapping, it really, just something about like, stimulating yourself while it's almost like self-soothing, is how it feels to me. So when I would just be sitting here, not feeling like I do deserve love, not feeling like I am lovable, and I can just sit here and say, no, I am loved. I am important. My voice does matter. I am lovable. I deserve to be loved, and I deserve to give love to others. Like, it does work, guys. That literally it unscrambled my brain. And also just doing cognitive processing therapy in general really, really helped me so much, tremendously, honestly saved my life. Do you ever feel weird when you see other mothers love their children? Every time I go to another house or I see mothers loving their children, it makes me feel weird. I feel kind of excited, but also a bit sad I never felt that way. Yesterday, I saw a little girl with her mother having ice cream on the street, and I felt so empty. I feel my mother never truly loved me. She just simulated loving me. Oh, that is so hard. It is so hard, like having a living, breathing mother that isn't really a mother, that quite literally abandoned you, even if it was just emotionally abandoning you, and seeing parents loving their children the right way. It is so complex and hard, and I don't even think I can think of like a word for it. It's like you're grieving, but it's not like a joyful grieving. It's not like oh, I'm grieving and remembering happy fond memories. It's literally grieving something that you have never experienced, but your body like knows and craves that. It's like you are craving, it's like as if like you've never had food before in your life and you're somehow still alive, and the only thing you can do is watch other people eat. And you will never get to eat. And you know that you'll never get to eat, but you still have to keep living. It is this hunger that never goes away. And when you go out into the world and you see other people being fed in the way that you deserved to, it can like rip your heart out. I'll share a story of when my brother-in-law was getting married to his wife, and the most beautiful wedding. Oh, it was so gorgeous. And just everything about the wedding was beautiful. Now, my sister-in-law and her family, they're like a really close, tight-knit family and stuff, and it's beautiful. There's like a million kids, a big, beautiful family. And she's really close with her dad, so she and her dad did this like choreographed dance for the wedding. And I know that that's like a typical thing, but it was so hard to sit there front row and watch how it was supposed to be, what it could have been for me, what it should have been for me. And having that realization set in that I will literally never, ever get that. No matter what kind of wedding I have, a church wedding, a wedding at a bar, eloping in Vegas, it doesn't matter. I will never have family there happy and supportive of me. And that was really hard. And it was extra hard too, like when I started having my own kids and seeing just how easy it was to respect them, to love them, to view them as a little individual human person, not a child that I birthed. No, that's just a human being that just so happened to come out of me. And it is a great privilege and responsibility that I have to help them grow up into the best big people that I can help them become. But it's hard because I didn't have that. Nobody cared about that with me. They just cared about me following the rules and doing what I'm told and obeying my abusers, obeying my parents. That's the only thing that mattered, was getting complete control over me. And so, yeah, I think it's totally valid for us to crave something that we were naturally supposed to get, something that we naturally expected and we never got. It is difficult seeing something that you know that you deserved and you should have had. And that is so valid. It is a deep, deep hurt. It's like, it is such a deep ache in the chest. Anyone else have these mental monologues directed at their mothers? I notice sometimes when I'm on my own with no particular triggers, maybe I'm just doing laundry or opening the mailbox, I find myself on these long, angry diatribe about my mother. It's usually when my train of thought is just idle, something small and probably indirect reminds me of her, and I just start thinking about all the things I want to tell her. Mostly it's frustration and that she's out there somewhere pleased with herself, and I wish she knew what a piece of she really is, etc. Anyway, it's a bad habit, I know, but wondering if this happens to anyone else. I have absolutely done this a lot. And I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing. In fact, like instead of like just like, saying things out loud, I actually have started writing letters to my mother, writing letters directed toward all of my abusers whenever I feel like that I just kind of need to rant and I kind of want to yell at them and, kind of tell them off and be like, look, you should know what you did was wrong. In these letters, I say everything that I wish I could say to these cowards to their face. And then I burn them or cut them up with scissors and then throw them away. And you know what? I feel a lot better afterwards, because at the end of the day, for a lot of us, we're not going to get our day in court. We're not going to get to say that closing statement. And our abusers are way too much of cowards to be able to face what they've done head on. Okay, so according to ChatGPT, those of us traumatized by our mothers, we have some qualities. Let's see what ChatGPT says they are. Resilience, empathy, emotional independence, observational skills, inner strength, adaptability, critical thinking, autonomy, heightened sensitivity, creativity, hypervigilance, loyalty, ability to detect insincerity, strong sense of responsibility, determination, hidden emotional strength, pursuit of authenticity, protectiveness, and self-discipline. I'd say I feel like I embody some of those qualities for sure. I wouldn't say that all of these are necessarily qualities. When I have to comfort my mom about her being a bad mom to me, yes, she will from time to time have this Oscar-winning performance. I am so sorry I was such a bad mother to you. I did the best I could, but sometimes I think I was unfair to you, and I cry knowing I hurt you in the past. This used to turn into me being like, come on, it wasn't that bad. I still love you, Mom, but not anymore. Yesterday, she pulled that, and I just listened and responded with, I see. Immediately, she flipped out and tried the attack tactic. Well, you weren't that great of a daughter either. I again gray rocked and said, okay. She cursed me out and hung up on me. So much for crying in bed at night, thinking she hurt me. Oh my God. Why do parents do this? Can somebody please explain the psychology behind why parents do this? Like or why people in general do this. Like, why do people apologize and take accountability for things that they actually aren't sorry for? And what they're actually seeking is just like sympathy for their wrongdoings. Are they trying to like validate the poor decisions that they made? Is that like what they're trying to do? Are they like seeing like, oh, if I say sorry for this, but they say it's okay, that'll make me like feel less bad about the bad thing that I did? I feel like that, like, is that what it is? Because like, that's just so manipulative. And it's like, why are you trying to seek comfort from your child? Like, why are you trying to seek some sort of support and validation for your parenting from your own child. That's like the last person that you should be seeking support and validation from. You should be talking to a therapist about it. Like, seriously, like I really wish that parents of all ages, my age, older, parents of adult children, would be willing to go to therapy. Like, if for no other reason than for yourself. Like, let's be honest, parenthood can be traumatic. Like, you are raising brand new human beings, and for a lot of us, we grew up in a traumatic environment, and therefore we might need more support than somebody who did not grow up in a traumatic environment. Or maybe you just are a parent who just needs more support because parenthood is really hard for you. That's okay. I would rather go to therapy because I am struggling being a parent than to have my child come to me and tell me that they are traumatized by my parenting. Like, it's okay to go to therapy. It is literally, a therapist is just like any other doctor. Like, you're not a failure for having a cavity and getting it fixed at the dentist. You're not a failure for, twisting your ankle and going to the doctor to get it fixed. You're not a failure for struggling with your mental health or, in parenting in general and going to the therapist to get help. That's okay. It's a good thing. And that involves for when your children are adults too, because maybe you raised your children thinking everything, was as sweet as pie and, smooth as butter. And now all of a sudden your kids are going no contact, or, they're telling you that you've hurt them and now you're blindsided and you're like, whoa, like I had no idea. Don't discuss that with your kid. If you're automatically thinking, I don't think that's true, don't invalidate and dismiss your child. Go talk to a professional about it. Tell the professional what is going on and be willing to be wrong. If you want a relationship with your children, you need to be willing to be wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. Like, you're literally a human being. You're not a robot. Like, literally nobody's perfect. I don't understand why why everyone's acting like we're perfect and we don't make mistakes. Like, apologize to your kids. It's okay. The thing is kids want a relationship with their parents. Kids want a relationship with you. They want you to love them and they want to reciprocate and love you back. Even for a lot of us who have been severely traumatized and betrayed by our parents, we still crave that because it's natural. They're our parents. It's biological. However, just because you had that child does not give you a right to that child, especially when they're an adult and they're old enough to make their own decision. There is no such thing as a perfect parent, but a perfect parent is the kind of parent who is willing to acknowledge their wrongdoings, take accountability for them, apologize, and take the steps in the right direction to actually make lasting change. That is what kids are looking for. Kids are not looking for a perfect parent. Actually, kids need to see you mess up and make mistakes, and they need to see that example of failing and making it right, apologizing and taking the right steps so that they can see, hey, when I make mistakes, there is a way to make it right. I am not a failure. I am not just a bad person. I am just a person who now has an opportunity to learn and grow from this experience. Well, I think that's about as much narcissistic mothering that I can take today. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and spending this time together. I'm sorry that I've been keeping you in the car again. And as always, I would love to know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, of course, share, and subscribe. And also on my last video, people have been asking for a space bun tutorial, and by the time this video is posted, I should have had that filmed and posted to my TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok, head over there. I will have a little space bun tutorial posted there too. And I get a lot of comments asking about my makeup. My eyeshadow is always Adriana Nicole Cosmetics. Now, what I'm wearing today in particular is the shade Aura and Ethereal combined. I really like that blue and purple. I love Adriana Nicole Cosmetics. She is phenomenal. That is the only eyeshadow that I wear. So thanks again so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you guys on the next one.